Hey, so I wanted to show you all the different features of your puppet. So here's Stogie all finished. So first thing, this neck tube that I have back here, there is a piece of twill tape going all the way down the spine, and that's the strong part that's not going to stretch at all. So that's what I would grab onto when you're putting your hand into the puppet, because that lines all the way up to the top of his head. So some other things to look at is on the back here, I have a big safety pin, and that's what's holding this neck tube in to the body right now. You could definitely take it out. For wardrobe changes, I think it'd be easy to take, just take this whole head off instead of trying to fit over top of this big head that's here. You might want to put another safety pin down here, because what happens is this part of the neck here, when it's a little tighter, so if I pull down on the neck tube, you know, it stretches and it looks a little cleaner. But if it doesn't matter, this gives you a lot of movement just by having it attached in the back. As far as the arms go, some things I would do. So I have these arm rods here, and there's a little slot in the hand where these go. Let me try to come on. So inside of the hand at the bottom, there's this little muslin insert, and this runs all the way up to the index finger, and that's where these go. You just keep wiggling it in place until you kind of see it hit the end out here, and that's what controls the hand. So these are all posable fingers because there's wire in them. Now this index finger, when the arm rod is in, is a little stiff because this is an 1/8 inch piano wire, so it's meant to be strong, so it's not going to bend on you. So the other ones would probably bend a lot easier. If you need this index finger to bend, I would just back this out a little bit, and then this would bend just fine, and it would still be in there. So once those are in, so it does bend. It's definitely a little stiffer just because of the size of the arms. And I think if you're doing 2 arms, it might be best to have a second puppeteer just operating the one arm. I'll show you why. So here, if I have both arm rods in, if I try to grab both of them like this, this would technically, like, you could puppeteer like that, but his arms are kind of stuck out in front of him. These work best when they're kind of out to the side like this. So if there was another person over here holding the arm rod, I think that would work best for the character. What are some other things? Let me take these arm rods out. And take the other one. So his eyes can definitely be rotated. All there is a little pin inside of there attached to the eye, like that. And I have a little nut on the end, so you can loosen or tighten this as much as you want. There's a little washer pushing up against the foam, so the eyes could be completely removed if you want. But I'm going to include some extra of these nylon nuts that you can play with. I'm also going to include some extra eyes if you want to play around with some different options. If you peel these off, it's going to leave a little bit of a residue like that, but I just use some mineral spirits, some terpenoid, to take it off, and that it comes off just fine. I'm also including some extra pupils, I'll throw a couple safety pins in there. I have some extra fleece that I'm going to send your way. And I'm also going to include this. This is the eyebrow material that I used, and I backed it with some felt so that it's a little stronger and the backing doesn't break down. So if you need extra eyebrows, that's going to be there for you as well. I'll also include this, just a little sheet of that sticky back velvet that I used to make the pupils out of. So all that is going to be coming your way. I'm going to take his head out and show you how the legs are attached. So to take this out, I'm just going to pull the safety pin. Just goes out like that. So his head's a separate thing. Then if you look in his body, so his legs are attached just by strings going through. There's a piece of wood glued to the foam, so it's a sturdy connection right there. So these just come out by undoing some of the knots that I did. So these are really strong anchors for the legs. The string goes all the way down to the foot. And keep pulling this out. So you'll see there's two little holes, and that's where those go in. The one side is higher than the other sides, and that goes towards the outside, just so it kind of follows the contour of the body down there. So I'm going to ship this guy with his legs detached, just so that there's less area that I need to mess around with. So let me take this other leg off. Oop. So the only difference between the way that I do the legs and the way that I do the arms is inside for the arms, there's a little button, and that is what I use as kind of a backing to hold it inside of there. There's just one hole here that the two strings go through, and then I use the washer to hold it against. So those can be taken off too if you want. So this guy is very versatile. Yeah, you can take them all apart and put them back together again. The only other thing I think I forgot to talk about was the eyebrows. They're pinned in place with 3 pins. There's one here, here, and here, so they can be raised and moved however you need them to be. I think that's about it. That's your guy. All right. I'll send some nicer pictures your way, and that's what I got. Thanks.